In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to rotate a text note and control its pivot point. By the end, you'll feel confident selecting a text note, opening the rotate tool, and understanding exactly how the rotation axis influences your result. Let's start by selecting the text note. Move your cursor over the text element you want to rotate and click it once to select. You'll typically see a highlight or a bounding box appear around the text, confirming it's active. Make sure you're clicking directly on the text element itself, not the background or a nearby object. If several items sit close together, zoom in slightly and pause for a second before clicking so you can clearly identify the text note. A clean selection here saves you from rotating the wrong element later. With the text note selected, it's time to use the rotate tool. You can find it by going to the modify menu and choosing rotate. If you prefer keyboard shortcuts, press R followed by O to activate it quickly. Once the rotate tool is active, you'll notice the interface shift to a rotation mode. The tool is now primed to rotate the selected text, and you should see visual cues that indicate where the rotation will pivot from. Now, let's talk about setting the rotation axis, also known as the pivot point. By default, the rotation axis is positioned at the center of the text box. That means if you rotate right away, the text will spin around its own center. This is perfect when you want a balanced rotation that doesn't shift the text's overall placement in your layout. However, you can click to define a different pivot point if needed. Placing the pivot on a corner of the text box helps you rotate while keeping that corner anchored, which is handy when aligning text to an edge or maintaining a specific alignment with nearby elements. You can also click somewhere outside the text to set the pivot externally. This makes the text swing in an arc around that point, which is useful for precise positioning relative to a nearby reference. Think of the pivot as the hinge of a door. Wherever you place it determines how the text swings. That's the core workflow. Select the text note, open the rotate tool, and choose the rotation axis that best fits your intent. Practice placing the pivot thoughtfully